In the year 2024, is Squandered Resources from Visions the perfect card for Nauseam Tendrils? In this video, we're going to find out. Why would you want to play Squandered Resources in Nauseam Tendrils in the year 2024? It doesn't make much sense. Or does it? And before we get into that, I'd like to thank Nick Borman for today's donation deck. Nick, I really do appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So why would you want to play Squandered Resources? Well, let's first talk about what the card actually is. For a black and a green, you get an enchantment that says sacrifice a land, add a color of mana that land could produce to your mana pool. Okay. Well, recently, if you're a member of our Storm Discord, a lot of people in there have been talking about Rain of Filth as an alternative to Cabal Ritual. And Squandered Resources is like a Rain of Filth that you can then bargain away to Beseech the Mirror, because Beseech the Mirror's bargain clause is an enchantment, token, or artifact. Not just artifact. A lot of people think about artifacts, but hey, it's enchantments too. So you can sacrifice your lands and cast Beseech the Mirror. Okay, so that actually might be pretty good. I'm willing to accept there's a world in which this is what you want to be doing. So I'm a little bit skeptical for two reasons. One, you're an Ad Nauseam deck, and when you have Beseech the Mirror in hand and want to cast Ad Nauseam, because your only card that you can get in this deck list is Gaia's Will, you need a lot of mana to go Beseech the Mirror, Infernal Tutor, Ad Nauseam. Without Cabal Ritual, you're not likely to get that much mana. Okay, so that's one reason I'm a little bit of a skeptic. The other thing I'm skeptical about in this deck list is 3 copies of Chrome Mox. And that in your Ad Nauseam deck where you're short on mana to Beseech the Mirror into the Ad Naus already, I don't know if 3 is enough. I think I'd like to see a 4th in here over the 15th land. 15 lands is a stock Ad Nauseam Tendrils thing, but I think that's a relic of the past. I think that we need to adjust. There's also some spice in the sideboard in this list, Inevitable Betrayal. This card is one that I'm usually not so convinced of. The idea is that you board it in over the second copy of Gaia's Will versus decks like Sneak and Show or Reanimator, and then you just steal their Gristlebrand. My issue is, I think typically if you're able to resolve Gaia's Will, you probably have a win. That said, I'm hoping I'm wrong today. I hope that this card is busted and that I'll need to get my Japanese foil copy, so let's find out today. Other than that, this deck list is fairly stock on the sideboard. One note about Grafdigger's Cage. In your Beseech the Mirror deck, if you want to Gaia's Will or Inevitable Betrayal, you can sacrifice the Grafdigger's Cage and then cast these spells. So you do have some extra utility there. You don't have to lose to your own sideboard card. You can work around it. So that's my deck tech. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Nick, thanks again for the donation deck. I really do appreciate you. And everyone, let's hop on into match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Match number 1. We're on the draw. We have one of the features of Ad Nauseam Tendrils, which is opening up Tendrils in your hand even though you never actually want it. And then one of our 2 copies of Gaia's Will in our Infernal Tutor deck. So this hand just doesn't actually function. We need to send it back. This hand is insanely good. We will keep this. Holy moly. Yeah, so the question is, do you bottom Lotus Petal or the Lion's Eye Diamond? So, Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Beseech, no mana floating, play the Gaia's Will. If we play Diamond, I can go up to 8 mana. No, I can go up to 7 mana. So I'm a mana short regardless. That's assuming I want the Thoughtseize. So I think I'm going to bottom the Lion's Eye Diamond here. Turn 1 Castle Lockthane, huh? Okay. So I guess I don't need to respect the Thoughtseize here. Well, Dark Ritual. This might just be a natural storm win with us drawing the us drawing Infernal Tutor. Grab Dark Ritual. Play the Ritual. Again. From 4, from 5 is Lotus Petal. It's not a natural one. I'm so far away. So now I will cast Beseech the Mirror, sacrificing the Lotus Petal for the bargain. We'll go get one of our 2 copies of Gaia's Will. There we go. We will cast the Gaia's Will from exile off of the Beseech the Mirror. Turn 1, match 1. Pretty good. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Thoughtseize you. Turn Reanimator. Interesting. You chose not to grief me, huh? Okay, and then Infernal Tutor from 12. Go grab the Tendrils of Agony from 13. That is how we do. Sweet. Swapping over deck to card view, it's just what I prefer here. When I cube draft, I like swapping it so that way I can actually see the mana curve of my deck a little bit better. Here we go, nice and large for everyone to see. So we probably want the Grafdigger's Cage. I like the Inevitable Betrayal. We'll board out one of the Gaia's Wills for that. I've seen some people do Dress Down, but I wonder if you're starting to dilute your deck at that point. I feel like 8 protection spells is so much in this matchup. This is probably just better. You can maybe board in like 1 Dress Down or 1 Echoing Truth for beating something like Iona or Seer's Emissary. You could try that. Board out another Thoughtseize. Like, Thoughtseize on the draw is a little clunky anyway. And then we can submit this. We do have our Ad Nauseam hidden off on the bottom of the screen. Another very good hand. Keep. Leyline of the Void. So here the Inevitable Betrayal looking fairly good. They Thoughtseize us. They have 2 cards remaining. I think the pick here is actually Dark Ritual. Let's see what they do. They take Infernal Tutor. And then another Thoughtseize. This one's going to take Beseech the Mirror. Okay, so the problem with Thoughtseize now is if I Thoughtseize them and their last card is a creature, I feel like a real dummy. I'm going to hold the artifacts for now. They play a land. I'm going to just sit tight here. Another diamond. Well, that might change things. Let's play out the Lotus Petal. And then I'll cast Ponder. Orcish Bowmasters. Yep. Ponder. So there's the Inevitable Betrayal. We want that on the bottom. I can draw the Infernal Tutor here. They're at 16. We might just have a natural Storm win. Storm's already 3. We have 5 cards in hand. Yeah, this is just GG. Dark Ritual. Thoughtseize for Storm, even though they have no hand. Oh no, I go to 16. Lion's Eye Diamond. Lion's Eye Diamond. Full priority on the Infernal Tutor. We'll sacrifice for 3 black. And then 3 more black mana. Infernal Tutor resolves. Storm's 8. Grab the Tendrils of Agony. So no Squandered Resources in match number 1. But I do like a couple of pretty quick wins. I do think that is what I would like to be doing in this video. So that was sweet, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, stick around for the second match. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2. We're on the play this time. Sure, we'll try this. Play out the Verdant Catacombs. And I could be wrong, but I think I remember our opponent being a Moonstompy player. And they're definitely F6'd here. So I think I'm going to try to push the advantage and cast Brainstorm right now off of a Lotus Petal. And we completely whiffed. That was terrible. Play out the Diamond. Pass the turn. We had 8 hits there that came pretty close to winning the game, and instead we drew nothing. Mox Diamond. So not likely Moonstompy. Could be something like lands here. They play a Savannah. Elvish Reclaimer. Okay. We do have to worry about crop rotation into Bojuka Bog. We're going to grab a basic with this Verdant Catacombs. Grabbing the basic Swamp. We'll take a draw. Squandered Resources. That doesn't really help me right now. So I'll just play the Misty and pass the turn. I don't want to throw away the Misty Rainforest in case I draw another Ponder or a Brainstorm and I want that shuffle effect. Bojuka Bog. Okay. That actually clears up some of my fear with this matchup, because if they had hid this in their hand, I'm forced to respect Crop Rotation or Elvish Reclaimer for the rest of the game, and now I don't have to do that. So I think actually playing this out might have been a little bit of a punt, but the only way we can punish them is by actually drawing cards with text on them, and we have not done that so far. They use the Elvish Reclaimer, and Reclaimer usually means that they're on Naya Depths, or I'm sorry, it could be just Selesnya Depths, but Naya Depths is a little bit more popular these days. Lands tends to not play Elvish Reclaimer. That's usually how you can tell the two apart from an initial glance. And they're just going to main phase copy the Dark Depths right now, trying to get in that little bit of extra damage. Okay, so I'm going to fall to 16, and we have to draw something right now or else we're dead. So I'm going to fetch at least the basic island. The question is, should I use the Verdant? And I think the answer is no, because if I still get a Ponder or Brainstorm, I want the ability to shuffle my deck. Here is nothing. Thoughtseize is not going to do it, but we can at least look at their hand. Yeah, this is just depths. Okay, we'll take the Sylvan. And then unfortunately, we need to concede because we never drew anything. A real bummer. Okay. We likely want the Dress Down. Dress Down is interesting because it allows you to beat something like a Collector Oof or a Gaddock Teague through Legolas's Quick Reflexes or Sajiri's Step or whatever. So that's definitely a card we're interested in. We do not need Veil of Summer. Echoing Truth is useful here. So this is a matchup where you can't trust your graveyard, and Inevitable Betrayal isn't very good. So that's worth pointing out here. We probably want the Beseech. That leaves us at 62 cards. Maybe 3 Dress Down, 2 Echoing Truth is too much. I'll do 2 and 2 and then board out a Thoughtseize. Like, that's just a lot of interaction. One issue I've had with a lot of these like Ant decks that I receive donation decks for is I think they're all built with too much protection in them. And I mean, it's not fair because I played the Epic Storm and I have Galvanic Relay and Burning Wish and everything, but 8 protection spells is a lot. When you go back to the Cyrus Corman Gill era of Ad Nauseam Tendrils, that deck played 6, sometimes 7. And recently, a lot of these Ant players haven't known what to do with their slots, and they all just add in an extra protection spell. And I don't think it's necessarily right. My initial Beseech the Mirror video had 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Veil of Summer in it because it was just black-green. When you have cantrips, you're more likely to be able to find your protection, so you're less likely to get clogged on it. It smooths things out. But I think with, you know, being Sultai based, you don't want 8 protection spells. That's probably a change I would make. Like the 4th Chrome Mox could be that slot, for example. That is a card I'm interested in this deck. On the play. Sure, we'll try this. Our opponent with a very fast mulligan to 4. We'll just play a Polluted Delta and pass the turn. They play a turn 1 Flagstones into Deafening Silence. Yep. This Dress Down looking a little bit awkward. We'll play Brainstorm. And I found a bunch of tutors, but not the answer to Deafening Silence that I'm looking for. I'm going to bottom a Dark Ritual here. We just don't need all of this mana. They have their second land. I'm going to fetch out the basic Swamp here. One of the reasons people like to play Ant is that you do have access to 2 basics. That said, I challenged somebody in the Storm Discord recently because they were knocking the Epic Storm, saying that it's weak to Wasteland. And I was like, well, what are the Wasteland matchups that are bad matchups? And I pointed at my Lands matchup, my Depths matchup, Death and Taxes, and Delver. They're all positive. I was like, the actual Wasteland decks are all good matchups for us. So like pointing out the basics of the Epic Storm is like, or the lack of basics is a flaw. It seems a little bit odd to me, but you know, people are allowed to have differing opinions, right? So we've played the Squandered Resources. We can now sacrifice the Bayou in response to a Wasteland and play the Dress Down if we so choose. I'm not sure that's a play I really want to make, but it's something I'm allowed to do. And now they just play a Caracas. Okay, we draw Brainstorm. I'm going to play Ponder here. We have 1 Beseech and 2 Echoing Truth we're looking for. This is actually pretty interesting. I could play the Squandered Resources, or use the Squandered Resources to cast Ad Nauseam to get around the Deafening Silence. So this is a spot where the Squandered Resources actually looks pretty good. But I think what I'm going to do is we're going to set that up over a couple turns. No, I don't want to shuffle. Play the Verdant, pass the turn. They have a Windswept Heath. I think our opponent might have a Veil of Summer in their hand because they haven't been tapping green mana and they waited to play the Night until they drew Windswept Heath. So, just pointing it out there, they could have a Veil of Summer to protect this Deafening Silence. We're just going to pass here. They use the Windswept Heath, and they grab Savannah. They choose not to go to combat, so they want to leave open the Night. They use Crop Rotation, sacrificing the Flagstones. They grabbed their basic planes. Great choice in basics. That is also the basic planes that I use. Although this looks like it might be Dominaria Remastered, and it is. I use the Invasion one. They grab a Thespian Stage, so they're just representing lethal here. We will fetch going down to 17. Let's grab Tropical Island. And then we'll tap some mana. Tap for a black. Use Squandered Resources, and I'm going to sacrifice the basic island. We'll make a blue. Cast Ad Nauseam. So we have 2 Echoing Truths and a Beseech Who Endures that we're looking to reveal here. Okay. Gaia's Will, Beseech the Mirror, Dark Ritual, Beseech. I'm at 7. Tendrils. This is why I don't like Ad Nauseam in these decks. Like, it's just not reliable anymore. So I don't have the answer, and I'm dead if we pass. So what am I supposed to do? I haven't even revealed the land. I think I have to flip. Diamond. So let's talk through this. I haven't revealed the land yet, but so next turn I have 6 possible mana, which means I can Beseech the Mirror into the Beseech to get around a Veil of Summer, if they do have one. But I also didn't board in Empty or Aeve, so I can't beat a Veil of Summer anyway. So should I just... I don't even have the mana to try to win, though. I actually have to flip. There's the land. We can stop there. We draw for the turn, and it's a Brainstorm. So I'll go to 2 life here. Grab Underground Sea. Tap for green. Tap for green, I guess. Squandered Resources. It's all or nothing this turn, so like I can sacrifice all of my lands up front. It doesn't really matter. Make another green. I'm going to cast Beseech the Mirror without the bargain. We will grab Beseech Who Endures, which gets around Deafening Silence here, which is quite nice. Use the Beseech. It's not really playing, it's activating the ability of Beseech Who Endures. Okay. So that is resolved. We can play a Dark Ritual now. Vernal Tutor. Reveal another Dark Ritual. We can play these. So Storm is now 4, 5, 6. From 7, Beseech the Mirror will sacrifice Squandered Resources. Let's grab a Gaia's Will. So now our opponent has to decide if they want to use the Night to exile my graveyard using Bojuka Bog, or, you know, let me Gaia's Will. And then they can't make a Merit Lodge off of Dark Depths this turn. So we're making them make a choice here. And if they have the Veil of Summer, the choice is pretty easy. You just let it happen. Surgical Extraction on Beseech the Mirror. Well, I do have Tendrils of Agony in my hand. Gaia's Will. And now that just resolves, which is very scary. Because that means that they probably have the Veil of Summer. Cast the Tendrils. Target you. So when my Tendrils finishes resolving, it will be exiled, and it is my only win condition. So if they have a Veil, that would be the match. They had Mindbreak Trap. That is just as good, and being at 2 life, I was not allowed to Thoughtseize them. My deck does not have another win condition in it. We are dead, so we are now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Alright, let's try to bounce back from that tough loss. We're on the play for match number 3. This hand plays Magic. We'll keep it. Play Line of the Void. Okay, so we're likely facing the black prison deck. Maybe I should have let on a Polluted Delta here instead of the Tropical. I don't think I really want any of those. Like, Veil of Summer protects my hand, but my hand doesn't do anything. So I'm just going to pass. They play a Chrome Mox, imprinting Opposition Agent. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm, basic Swamp, and Reanimate. Okay. Our opponent's at 14 life, which makes, you know, Tendrils of Agony a lot easier to do when they have a Leyline of the Void in their battlefield. So we'll cast Brainstorm, more lands, put back 2 lands. Did I? No, I didn't punt. Okay. I was like, hold on, did I have a Brainstorm Beseech line after? I could make 4 mana, but I wouldn't have the card to bargain. I'm going to try brainstorming again right now. I think this does it. So, hypothetically, you could put back 2 lands. Lotus Petal would be Storm 3. Dark Ritual Storm 4. Lion's Eye Diamond would be 5. Infernal would be 6. Tendrils is 7. I think that checks. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. Infernal Tutor. Sacrifice the diamond for 3 black. Go grab Tendrils of Agony. Boom. Off to game number 2 we go. Thank you, Troll of Khazad-dûm. Okay, so the Black Prison deck. They do have Opposition Agent. So, like, Dress Down isn't the worst. It also stops Bowmasters if we decide we care about that. I do like Empty and Aeve. Once again, a graveyard matchup where Inevitable Betrayal doesn't really help us. Or a matchup where they have hate, I should say. I'm going to board out the Ad Nauseam. I think we just want the Aeve here. We're at 65. I think you have to trim on protection. And usually in these matchups, I don't like holding open Veil of Summer. So I'm actually going to board down on those. We'll try this out. Okay. They've kept 7. I guess we will, but I don't love it. They open on Leyline of the Void again. Leyline of the Void usually means that they're on the Helm of Obedience lists as well, which are more combo focused. Lion's Eye Diamond was a huge draw right there. We'll go grab a Underground Sea, and let's main phase this Brainstorm. Okay. Put the Tendrils back on top along with an Infernal Tutor. So I could play out the artifacts here to avoid discard, but I kind of need them for Storm count. I'm going to pass. Also, a difference between Rain of Filth and Squandered Resources here is if the Squandered Resources was a Rain of Filth, next turn I could Aeve Progenitor Ooze, and because it's not, I would have to empty the Warrens. They play Chrome Mox, Prince Dauthi Voidwalker, Thoughtseize. Hopefully they take the Infernal Tutor here. I mean, the correct pick is the Diamond, but hopefully they take the Infernal Tutor and we have another one on top of our deck. They do. They have another Ancient Tomb. Okay, so it looks like they might be stuck on mana or something. So we can fetch, grab, Bayou, I guess. I can empty for 10 here. I'd have to sacrifice both of my lands, but it's a choice we can make. So here goes nothing. We're going to make some mana using Squandered Resources. Play out Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Infernal Tutor, hold priority, we'll make 3 red, grab the empty, and we'll play it. So if we had the 1 more mana, this would have been 20 power worth of Ooze tokens. Instead, it's 10 goblins. So it's a 2-turn clock. It gives our opponents an extra out to find that answer. They found another black mana, and they have the Helm. I'm just going to concede now. This way they can't see my deck. Okay. I wonder if because they're a more combo-oriented list, if I should just focus on Ad Nauseam, bring in the extra land. Like, you could do Veil of Summer on the play here, but it comes at an expense of something. So is it answers like Dress Down or Echoing Truth, and then you're a lot worse if they do resolve an opposition agent? Or is it over Thoughtseize, and then you're not disrupting them when you're on the play? I think I do want to board out 1 Dress Down for the 4 Thoughtseize when we're on the play anyway. But if you want to bring in Veil of Summer, I think you have to board out like Squandered Resources, which we could do 2 Veils. I think that would be fine. But then after that, it's like Ponders, and I don't think that's what I want to be doing here. So I'm going to try out this. On the play for game number 3. I just don't think you're allowed to keep the hand. We'll mulligan. Sure. Bottom the Dress Down. No Leyline this game. We will fetch, grab an Underground Sea, and let's start off with a Thoughtseize. So they have Dothy Helm. I'm going to take the opposition agent here. They play a basic. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, I'm so bad at Magic. Oh, why did I do that? That was so dumb. I promise you I've played Magic before in my life. Oh, that was so dumb. Why would I do that? Okay, let's Thoughtseize, I guess. That was really bad. They drew another Reanimate. My plan here was to take Dothy Voidwalker. I think I've learned my lesson after the first time, though. Gotta be the Reanimate, I think. I need time right now, and giving them 6 power worth of creatures probably isn't it. I can't believe I did that. Yep. So they just shut off Guy's Will, and I'm at 12 life, so Ad Nauseam likely isn't going to work. Let's Brainstorm. That was terrible. Put back 2 tutors. Yeah, I think we're done for here. Oh, that was so bad. They cycle the Troll, they play their 3rd land for the turn. I mean, I'm also just dead on board. Yeah, I'm just going to concede this. I threw this. I am so sorry. I am better than this. I don't know what I was thinking. I was so concerned with Reanimate Troll that I just wasn't looking at the obvious play of reanimating your agent. We all make mistakes. There's no real excuse. Gotta play better. I'm going to try to do better in match number 4. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. I won't lie to you, I had to take a step away after that last one. That was just really poor play. I'm not saying I would have won that game, but I definitely put myself in a position where I couldn't win. That was frustrating, but head up, we're going to try to win this round, just play better. And here, we don't have any sort of payoff. I could suspend Gaia's Will and go for the long game. We haven't faced a blue deck, so I feel like we might be due. I'm going to try it. Knowing my luck, though, will just be initiative. Play the Tropical Island and pass the turn. We're choosing to play out the Tropical because we have Veil of Summer in hand. And if they are a blue deck, I could always suspend Gaia's Will on the second turn. Basic Plains, Chrome Mox. It's initiative. I love it. I hate my life. Alright. Solitude. Archon of Emeria. Our deck is literally cold. So we will go to game number 2. Not really much to say there. Alright, MT comes in. We want the Dress Downs. We want the Echoing Truth. Get out of here, Veil of Summer. We do not want you. That's 62 cards. I don't think I want Ad Nauseam in this matchup. And then let's get rid of a Guy's Will as well. We'll try this. On the play. Sure, we'll keep. Bayou into Thoughtseize. I think this is just Chrome Mox. Then we'll pass the turn. Ancient Tomb. You drew Chalice of the Void? No, come on. Ugh. Why? Pass the turn. Lotus Petal, Baracus. They play Seasoned Dungeoneer. They grab the basic mountain. We draw a Lotus Petal. I will pass the turn. So how we win this game is likely... I mean, maybe we guys will win. If I draw a Lion's Eye Diamond, we might actually win this game. They're at 14 now. Next turn they go to Trap, so they have 12 damage on the board next turn, assuming that their Explorer doesn't kill me. Draw a land that is a mountain. So I have to hope that I get another turn and that draw step is Lion's Eye Diamond. Yep, so I go to 8. So we need the Explorer here off of Seasoned Dungeoneer to not kill me. And it does in fact kill me. Okay, well that was a very fast match where I just got my teeth kicked in. Alright, we are now 1-3. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Let's try to get 50 play points back. I am on the play for the 5th and final match. Okay, this hand seems reasonable. We will keep. Play out the Polluted Delta and then pass the turn. Windswept Heath. Okay, so they are not a blue deck. No blue decks this. Mox Diamond. Discards Maze of Ith. So this is lands, which means this could be a turn 1 Sphere of Resistance. Elvish Reclaimer. You don't normally see Maze of Ith in depths, but this could be depths. Let's brainstorm here. I can't win this turn, but I could set up a win for next turn. We'll put back the Beseech the Mirror and the extra land. So I guess we're looking at an Ad Nauseam win. Hold on, I guess I could just Nause now. What am I doing? I've played Magic before. I feel like I'm off my game tonight. Like, I almost just passed the turn with a possible Ad Nauseam here. And then I threw that match 3. No real excuse either. I'm having an off day. Infernal Tutor, grab the Ad Nauseam. And if this was the case, I was supposed to keep the Beseech in my hand and then put a land back. But I just didn't realize what the plan was. So, yeah. We have an extra Beseech in our deck instead of a land. Things are looking okay so far, though. We go to 10, Squandered Resources, Infernal Tutor, Veil of Summer, and we're at 1. Play out the Lotus Petal, the Crop Rotation. Is this for a Bajuka Bog? I mean, Bog doesn't really matter here. Sure. Increase that Storm for me. Now I don't have to play around Swords to Plowshares either. I love it. Play out the Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, and Tendrils of Agony. Alright, well, Ad Nauseam got that game number 1. Like to see that. Let's bring in the Dress Downs, the Echoing Truth, the Beseiju. I'm not going to board in the creatures. Get the Veil of Summers out of here. 62 cards. Let's do 1 Dress Down and 1 Gaea as well. I'm going to leave in all 4 Thoughtseize this time. We lost to a Mindbreak Trap in the previous win attempt, so let's not do that again. Here we have the Singleton Gaea as well, because I boarded out the other. I think I'm going to keep this, but I don't love it. So Beseech the Mirror, the only real target for Beseech is Infernal Tutor for Ad Nauseam. So for this hand to really work, I mean, should I just mulligan it? Like, we need to draw Brainstorm at some point. Maybe I'm just blinded by having Echoing Truth after losing to Deafening Silence in the first time. Technically, I didn't lose to the Deafening Silence. Alright, I'm going to send it. I think this hand is just a little too flawed. This looks a little bit better. We'll bottom the Gaia's Will and then just ponder looking for another land. Goodbye, Gaia's Will. Windswept Heath for Bayou. Thoughtseize, okay. I think the pick is actually Ponder here. They choose Ad Nauseam. So that's a reasonable choice, because if you do this, you can now like hold open Crop Rotation for a long time and just like not let me use my graveyard into Elvish Reclaimer. So good start for the opponent. Beseech was a fine draw. Let's ponder. I don't want any of those. And there's Deafening Silence. Okay. So the silver lining here is that they don't have a fast clock for now. Dark Ritual. Let's brainstorm. We definitely don't want the Tendrils. Put the Dress Down back. Play the land and we'll pass. They grab a Flagstones. Okay. I kind of expected them to get one of the Dark Depths combo pieces there, not a Flagstones. Another Thoughtseize off the top. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so now they can take the Echoing Truth. They're going after the Beseech. That's interesting. They decide not to attack. We'll fetch. Grab Bayou. Another Chrome Mox. We will pass. So the Flagstones first will find a Plains and put it onto the battlefield tapped. They pick up a Savannah, Reclaimer, and they grab a Stage this time. Surgical Extraction on Ad Nauseam. You've got it. And they didn't even exile. Okay. So even if they search out Dark Depths this turn, they can't copy it. So I get another turn to potentially draw my last and final Chrome Mox. Okay. Okay. So now I have to burn the Echoing Truth on a Merit Lodge next turn. Or I can try to just blindly bounce the Deafening Silence and pray to draw into an Infernal Tutor or Beseech the Mirror. They grab a Dark Depths. They swing for 3. I think the blind bounce doesn't even make a lot of sense because it would be a Tendrils for 12, not 14. All right, so we drew another dud. I have to pass here. They know that I have the Echoing Truth in hand. Let's see if they copy. They don't. Green Sun Zenith. So this can go grab like a Sylvan Safekeeper, but because they did it for 0, it has to grab a Dryad Arbor. They could have gotten something there to just kill me, and they didn't. So they attack, I'll draw, it's another land. We just have to pass. So now I go to 10. I think I'm just going to take a draw step rather than burn a fetch land. Dress down. Okay. Another Deafening Silence, but my answer is Echoing Truth, so that's actually not the end of the world for me. They attack for 3 again. I will go to 7. On their end step, we will Dress Down. Dress Down happens. The Dryad Arbor no longer taps for mana, so they can't copy the Dark Depths. We drew another land. Okay, draw. Infernal Tutor. I'm going to play my land. So if I Echoing Truth the Deafening Silence, I can then fetch 3 times. So that's 3 mana, 4, 5, 6. That's enough to Tendrils. Echoing Truth, Deafening Silence. The Orcish Bowmasters. I have a Dress Down in place. That doesn't really matter. Fetch with the Polluted Delta. We just have to make sure we have enough lands to grab here. And it seems like we have plenty. Fetch with the Verdant. This grabs Tropical. Dark Ritual. Lotus Petal. Chrome Mox. No Imprint. Chrome Mox. No Imprint. Chrome Mox. No Imprint. Infernal Tutor. This grabs Tendrils of Agony. And we'll cast it. Sweet. So we finished 2-3. You could argue that I was supposed to be 3-2. I wouldn't fault you for that. I mean, I don't know if I would have won that game versus the mono black deck. So I think the correct pick there was taking the Reanimate. So they would have gone Cycle Troll, turn 2 Dothy, turn 3 Opposition Agent, turn 4 Helm. Our turn 2 probably would have been Ponder Shuffle, Hope to Find Land, and then Brainstorm on the following turn with Infernal Tutor, I believe it was. So I'm not sure if we would have gotten there, but it would have given me a chance instead of just me throwing the match. So anyway, back to the deck list. What did I think? Squandered Resources. It came up pretty clutch that one game where I got to add Nauseam on their end step. That was really sweet. There was a game that I couldn't Aeve Progenitor Ooze because it was Squandered Resources and not Reign of Filth. Cabal Ritual, I think, also would have let me Aeve Progenitor Ooze there. So that's kind of weird. I still don't think you need 8 protection spells. I would like to see a 4th Chrome Mox, I think. The sideboard. This is probably where I have my biggest gripe with this deck list. Inevitable Betrayal never came up, and it kind of feels like it's a win more card. Like, if you're able to Beseech the Mirror into Gaea well, usually you can win the game. And this just feels like sort of a wasted sideboard slot. We never faced blue tonight, so like the carpets didn't come up. But the Gaea will just for Painter. I feel like I'd rather have a second Beseech there and help shore up some matchups that actually need help, like Initiative, or Moonstompy, or Lands, or whatever. Like, I love 2 Beseech, 2 Carpet in the Epic Storm, and I wish I would have had that here. The Gaea's Blessing just isn't super useful. And if you're going to, have the Inevitable Betrayal, I feel like having Grafdigger's Cage 2, like 2 dedicated slots, like, just play double Cage. That's what I would probably recommend there. Aeve not working with Beseech the Mirror is kind of awkward. Like, I think just the empty is probably okay. I don't know if you need both of those. But that's my feedback on the deck list. In general, this is a big gripe that I have, not with Nick's specific list, but with Ant in general right now. Ad Nauseam stinks. Like, in your 4 Beseech the Mirror, 4 Tendrils of Agony deck, you have 5 4-drops. And this card just isn't reliable. Even with 4 Chrome Mox, the game that we flipped super low, I never revealed a single Chrome Mox or any other mana. Like, this card is just too high variance these days, and it's not a reliable backup plan. Just play Songs of Creation. It's so much better. That's really what I have to say there, but that's my feedback. Nick, I'm sorry that I threw match number 3. Hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video. I'm sure people are going to rip me apart in the comments, but I probably deserve it. But thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Have a great day. And as always, keep storming. If you enjoyed today's video, you might also like the Eternal Glory podcast featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Bosch and Roll, Brian Cobal, and Thraben U, Phil Gallagher, as we discuss legacy concepts, theories, strategies, and so much more. We're available on all major podcast platforms, as well as YouTube. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.